All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Cincinnati. And we've got a huge matchup. Rematch of what happened at Wimbledon. Raducanu taking on Sabalenka. And Raducanu's played Sabalenka twice. Hasn't won a set against her yet, but last time they played, both sets Raducanu was leading, but unfortunately couldn't get it done. But let's see. Sabalenka hasn't played much since Wimbledon, so let's see if Raducanu, who has been playing pretty well the last couple of weeks, can get at least get a set. Maybe a win. 1 second. I forgot my tea. All right. So yeah, let's see. Let's see what happens. What has happened so far today? Has anything happened? Alexandra Eala beat Joint. Runa is winning at the moment. Monero took out Townsend. And then later today we got Sinner. We're also going to watch Fritz versus Sonego, which Sonego is so underrated as a fun player to watch. He is so entertaining. And yeah, there's a lot of players playing today, but it's a weird day because we're supposed to have Swiatek versus Kostyuk, which was a huge match that got taken off the card. Otherwise, it would have been a crazy day. Rabakin is playing later. We've got Kalinskaya and Islamova, which is fun. Tommy Paul, Madison Keys, Tiafo, they're all playing. Fonseca's playing later. And there's a lot of doubles as well today. So, yeah. Zverev's match yesterday was 1 hour and 6 minutes. That's a record. It's got to be the quickest match we've ever played. Swiatek's match was cancelled because she's not playing because Kostyuk withdrew. So Swiatek got a walkover. 2-0 in favour of Sabalenka. Okay. Well, that's a head-to-head, yeah. The last time they played, it was close. It's a close, straight sets. Raducanu led both times in both sets. So let's see if she can go one better. Let's see. I think Kostyuk withdrew from a wrist injury. I think it was a wrist injury. I think that was the cause of the retirement or the withdrawal. Could Emma possibly do this? She has to win the first set. I think she has to win the first set. But she could. Hey, Justin, thank you for the 14 months. Appreciate that. Picked up a wrist injury, I believe, in Canada or Washington. Yeah, she did. Because remember we watched her last week and she had the strapping on her arm? So, yeah. So that must have been for that reason. Wouldn't rule out a surprise entirely, but would be surprised if it wasn't relatively simple for Sabalenka. Yeah. By the way, chat, has anyone else this week seen highlights of Cincinnati and thought it was the Australian Open? Has anybody else I saw either I can't remember if I was scrolling or if I was like on my computer, but I just remember I just saw like in the corner of my eye the court colours, and I'm like, oh, this is an Australian Open highlight from the start of the year. And then I'm like, oh no, it's Cincinnati. I thought it must have been on Instagram when I was scrolling through, and I'm like, oh wait, hang on, no, this is Cincy. This is in Australia. It was weird. Just the double blue. It's the blue. The blue is Australian Open colours. All right, so okay, I'm not the only one. Yeah, why do they do it so close to Australia? Why find your own colours. I woke up from napping thinking it was an Australian Open. Yeah, it's weird, right? Yeah, it's a weird. It's too similar. It's too close. Why does German Eva Lee speak fluent English? I don't know, practice? It's crazy that these two always play third round. Yeah. Should have gone 3 at Wimbledon. Oh, yeah, for sure. Raducanu should have won a set. Watch highlights where you can't see the ball, and it's not just me. Oh no, the glare of the court during the day is very hard to spot the ball. The courts are very shiny in the sun, but that's more of a camera issue than a court problem. Like they can change the settings of the camera, and that could make it easier for us to watch, but they haven't done that. But yeah, it's I agree. I think this week it's all like every match we've watched. It's been very, very hard to see the ball. Most European countries have English taught at school. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Runa wins. Nice. It's supposed to be hot this week. In Pennsylvania, at least. Probably will be at Cincy too. It was hot yesterday. Medvedev was not feeling great. Good win for Runa and Straight said, yeah, Mickelson's not a slouch. That's a great win. Who does Runa play now? Runa will play the winner of Humbert and Tiafoe. Ooh. That's fun. And then Runa Fritz maybe in the semis, the quarters, and then Sinner. We need to see Runa Sinner. We haven't seen a Runa Sinner match for a while. I mean, he looks unhappy on court. Yeah, I'm just guesstimating, but I'm sure it has something to do. I'm sure, actually, first it's obviously because he's not playing as well as he was. But his family doesn't get to travel with him because they just have a lot of young kids, so they can't really. Usually, his wife's with him. I mean, when he was playing his best, Medvedev's wife was there as like the second coach, right? But now they've got 2 kids, so not as easy to get around the world, and I think that's got to be part of it, right? That his that his family aren't. Well, I don't know if they're with him this week, but they're probably not with him as much as they were. So maybe that's part of it. I mean, look, the thing with Medvedev is that he will be honest with whatever it is. He won't pretend like, oh, it's nothing. I'm just having he'll tell you what it is, if it's something. So, but yeah, well, Medvedev seems like the type of player that he would retire if he wasn't interested. Like he wouldn't play tennis for no reason. Like Medvedev would stop. He would retire, if he felt like he wasn't going to be, if he wasn't feeling it, So hopefully that's not the case, but we'll see. Musetti had the same problem with Femina. I don't know about Musetti. Musetti's been on and off with injury in the since the French Open, so I don't know about Musetti. But Medvedev, is definitely the. It was one thing to not win on on some surfaces, but on hard courts. When he starts losing on hard courts, that's when it becomes concerning. Winner of this will play Moniro, by the way, who's had a very good week. She's beaten Fernandez and Townsend. So, Buzes Moniro, 4th round opponent, who's been very good. I think she played really well last week too, right? How's Tsitsipas doing? He plays today, I think. Going back to yesterday about loser speeches, kind of hard when you're down about losing and all of a sudden to congratulate the winner. Yeah. I think a lot of people were unnecessarily harsh on Osaka, but it's called the internet. That's the internet for you. Do you think Sinner can win a game against Diallo? Is that a typo? Musetti's girlfriend are expecting baby number 2. He's a little off, plus injury doesn't help. Yeah, well, look, we don't know any of these things, right? That how the players feel personally about stuff. All right, players are warming up. They play twice, and Sabalenka has won both matches. But Raducanu in the last match was very, very competitive. Raducanu trying to get seeded at the US Open. She's currently ranked number 34. If she wins this match, she will be number 33. I think she has to make it sort of to the quarterfinals to then be sort of top 30. But 34 might be enough. It just depends on what... Well, actually, it probably won't be enough because you've got Kudermetova, Kruger, Linette, and Moniro, who are could very much overtake Raducanu if she doesn't win today. So 34, especially with the withdrawals we've had already, with Badosa being in the top 20 and Zhang, so 34 is enough for now. But if she does lose today and Kudermetova, Moniro, and Kruger win, she'll get bumped down to number 37, which I don't know if it's going to be enough to be seeded. Unless others withdraw. And Kostyuk's got an injury worry, we know that, after this week. But then again, maybe it was precautionary this week. I don't know who else in the top. I mean, Andreeva, I think she'll play the US Open, but she's obviously not playing this week. I don't think anyone else is injured. So 37 might be a little too far. To have 5 people withdraw from the tournament in the top 30, it's not unlikely, but it's not you don't want to rely on that, right? So it sucks that Raducanu, it's sort of a must-win match, If you want to, put yourself in a position to be a seed at the US Open. Raducanu might be the highest unseeded player at this US Open. That could be where she falls, which is, it sucks for everybody because it means that she's probably going to draw. She might draw someone in the top 10, and that sucks for us. We want to see, we don't want to see her play, have a tough draw again. Have they started? The scoreboard is blank. Nope, they have not started. Kalinskaya versus Anisimova is interesting. Yeah, that'd be interesting. They're just warming up the last few serves, and then we will begin. What's the weather going to be like in Cincy for the next... Oh, shit. Bad. So it's going to be hot, but then tomorrow might rain. Wednesday's going to be thunderstorms, so Wednesday could be a bit of a weird day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday there could be rain, but they seem okay. But yeah, Wednesday seems like a crappy day, which means the winners of today's matches might not be able to play on Wednesday. Or have an interrupted Wednesday. Raducanu serving. I'm going to go Sabalenka in 3. I think Raducanu wins her first set, but Sabalenka will be too strong. That is my thoughts. As Raducanu 15 love. And she hits a forehand approach winner, and it's 30 love. Will Kostyuk play in the US Open? She will at this stage, yeah. 2 weeks. By the way, 2 weeks, chat. 2 weeks until the US Open starts. Starts in 2 weeks. Crazy. Raducanu 40 love. As Raducanu serves again. And the return goes short. Raducanu puts it away. Nice start. 1-0. Did I watch Sabalenka's vlogs? No. Not because I don't want to, just because I haven't thought about it. But I will eventually. All right, Sabalenka to serve. US Open starts 2 weeks from yesterday. First day is Sunday now. Yeah, yeah. 2 week Masters and Sunday starts. Forget me with just forget that. Let's just not do that. All right. Sabalenka serves. And Raducanu with the return winner. All right. Rindinish clap from heat stroke. Shit, that's scary. Hopefully he's all right. Love 15. Sabalenka serves a fault. Second serve. Raducanu returns. Sabalenka backhand the forehand of Raducanu. And slice from Sabalenka. Raducanu puts it away. Love 30. Love 30. Sabalenka serves a fault. And then a backhand as she comes to the net with a volley. Raducanu with a passing shot. Too good. Love 40. God, Raducanu's on fire. Love 40. Raducanu hasn't lost a point. Love 40. Sabalenka into the back of Raducanu. Sabalenka forehand in the net. There it is. Break. Perfect start for Raducanu. All right. Raducanu, 2-love without losing a point. All right, Raducanu serves again. And it's 15-love. She's won 9 points in a row. Raducanu serves a fault, second serve. And then she double faults. And that makes sense. 15-all. $15-all. As Raducanu faults again, second serve. As the return goes to forehand to Raducanu. Sabalenka backhand winner. 15-30. $15-30. Chance for Sabalenka to get a break point. A bit of fault, second serve. As the return goes in the back of Raducanu. Raducanu hits it out, 15-40. Sabalenka break back points. As the return goes in forward of Raducanu. Raducanu hits it out. Sabalenka breaks back. We're back on serve. We're back on serve. All right. All right. Back on serve. Yeah, 9 points in a row for Emma, and then 4 points in a row for Sabalenka. That's it. Emma needs to win in 2. She won't last 3 sets. Yeah, I mean, with all the players that are struggling in the heat, if Raducanu does go 3, it would be very interesting to see how she is physically, because we do know that has been a thing, has been a problem in the past. So, it will be interesting. All right. 2-1. Sabalenka forehand is a winner. 15 love. Sabalenka has now won 5 games in a row. 5 points in a row. Not yet. Not yet with the 5 games. Make that 6 points in a row. 30 love. Serve again. 30 love. As the return goes backhand, Sabalenka hits it wide. 30-15. 30-15. By the way, Raducanu's new coach is very chatty today. Love to hear it. As the return goes into the forehand of Sabalenka. Raducanu forehand to the forehand of Sabalenka. Raducanu backhand in the net. 40-15. All right, Sabalenka holds. 2-0. All right, 2-2. As Raducanu serves fault, second serve. Do you think Emma got a Spanish coach because of Alcaraz? Does that make sense? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so. Love 15. As Raducanu hits a backhand winner, 15-0. I mean, it depends on what you think or what you believe is going on. It makes sense if all the shit that's been going on and all the... It does make sense if... if they're married, but no, I don't. I don't think she hired this coach to learn how to speak Spanish, Carol. I don't think so. I don't think she hired a Spanish coach to learn how to speak Spanish. That doesn't make sense. You wouldn't do that. That makes sense. Anyways, Sabalenka gets out 30-all. Because he's speaking English anyway, so. Also, can you imagine if they were dating and then she hires a Spanish coach, then they break up? That's awkward. That's all. You know what I mean? It's really awkward. Then you got to fire your coach because you're like, oh yeah, I don't really need your help. I just needed Spanish lessons. It'd be awkward as hell. 30-all. Was it a backhand into the forehand of Sabalenka? Raducanu can't get it. Sabalenka too strong. 30-40. Raducanu needs first serves. As the return goes in, the forehand Raducanu back into Sabalenka. Down the line's a winner. Ooh, Sabalenka was a little bit slow out of the blocks, but now she is now cruising. This is the Sabalenka that dominated the hardcourt season last year. Jams.
Batman, one of my favourite things about this channel is when the chat asks dumb questions and Cam just looks at us rolling on the floor laughing.
I don't think it was a dumb question. It was just not. I just don't. I don't believe that. But I think it's a coincidence more than it is a purposeful hire for that reason. I think the fact that Roy worked with Nadal, I think that's probably more of a selling point than Spanish. By the way, thank you, Alona, for the 13 months. Appreciate that. All right. Can Alcaraz win Cincy? Yes. But he can't play like yesterday. Why are Raducanu and Raducanu so bad? Because they're not. I'm not sure Emma believes she can win. No, it says that Sabalenka is playing very, very aggressive. Remember, the big difference at Wimbledon as well was that it was in the UK, right? This crowd are impartial. This crowd are not biased. This crowd is not going to affect Sabalenka, right? Whereas the Wimbledon crowd and the crowd were definitely part of the problem. You know, Sabalenka had to deal with that. She didn't have to deal with that today. So that extra cheering of errors and all that stuff that happens when you're playing against someone from the country that you're playing in, you know, the locals, it's always going to come with that extra. Like, you make an error, it's going to be real loud. You gotta know that you hit an error. She didn't have to deal with that today. 15 love. Also, this court is also they're playing during the day, which they didn't at Wimbledon. Remember, it was a night match. Also, it's outside and probably faster courts as well. So faster courts. Sabalenka's game going to be more, much harder to defend. So there's a lot of differences to what happened the other at Wimbledon. A lot of differences. 30 love. Shelton's on fire. Oh yeah, he is. I was watching yesterday, chat. I came across some of you. This is such a niche match, but there was matches in 2005 between Taylor Dent and Leighton Hewitt. I loved watching Taylor Dent. He was one of my favorites. I loved how he was like one of the last serve volley, like true serve volleyers, right? In singles. Loved what, but so much. Is that Max Murney in the Sabalenka box? That's interesting. But it clicked that Shelton has got not the serve volley game, but he can do that. But the way that he goes about it, he's very similar to Dent with the big serving. Like just a big game. So much fun to watch. Can serve volley. Dent wasn't as loud as Shelton is because Shelton's a lot more vocal, but man. I'm like, oh yeah. It kind of makes sense why I like Shelton so much. Murney's there is on the team for the US Open swing. That's awesome. One of the great doubles players. Played very good singles as well. I think he played Federer at the Australian Open once in singles. And he also won, didn't he win the US Open with Leighton? Doubles? Am I remembering that in 2000? Or was it Federer? Anyway, Sabalenka with a lovely volley, 40-30. I'm pretty sure he won a doubles title with Leighton. US Open 2000s, he won with Leighton. See? I remembered. 40-30. Sabalenka too strong. She's won 4 games in a row now. Sabalenka leads. All right, 4-2. We have a fault, second serve. Love, nice serving Raducanu. First serve is a fault, second serve. As the return goes in the back of Raducanu. And then Sabalenka with a volley. Raducanu gets it back, but just overhits it. 15-all. Sabalenka's attacking the net now as well. Ah, 15-all. Raducanu serves again. And the return goes back into the forward of Raducanu. Raducanu hits it out, 15-30. By the way, chat, we're almost at 200 likes. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We're almost at 260K, which is crazy. $15.30. As Raducanu serves a fault. Second serve. As Sabalenka in the net. 30-0. Screaming Sabalenka, obviously, it has a detrimental effect on her opponent. It is a clear tactic of hers. $30. Second serve. Sabalenka returns it out. By the way, 2 second serves in the last 2 points. Sabalenka's played a terrible return. 40-30. As Raducanu, great serving. She stops the run of games. All right, Sabalenka 4-3 with a break. All right. 4-3. Now, in other matches, Rinderdish had to retire, which is a shame. Humbert's up 3-1 against Tiafoe. And Castella's up 5-4 against Yuan. So not much is going on. Could Diallo get a set-off sitter? Probably not. But I haven't seen enough of Diallo to think otherwise. So we'll wait and see. All right. Sabalenka with a break for 3. Four, 3. 4-3. As the return goes back into Sabalenka, 400 from Raducanu. And Sabalenka gets it out. Love 15. Love 15. Sabalenka serves again. And it's an ace. 15-0. Seems to be a lot of errors here. Nah, not really. Not really. Ah, 15-30. 15-30. Chance for Raducanu to get back on serve here. There's a bit of fault. Second serve. As Sabalenka thought she double faulted. And she kind of just stood there and Raducanu hit a return. And it's 15-40. Weird. That's a weird thing to do. She hit the second serve, thought she double faulted, and then just kind of stood there and Raducanu hit a return. Okay. Break back points. Raducanu forehand to the forehand of Sabalenka. Raducanu backhand. To the backhand of Sabalenka. It's Raducanu backhand again to the backhand of Sabalenka. Into the forehand of Raducanu. And Sabalenka forehand cross court. Raducanu hits it long. And it's 30-40. $30-40. $30-40. Sabalenka serves a fault. Second serve. Chance for Raducanu. Big chance. As the return goes in the backhand of Sabalenka. Raducanu slice. Into the backhand of Sabalenka. Hits it in the net. Okay. We're back on serve. 4-4. So good to see Sabalenka lose the Australian Open final. What a screamer. Bro, you got to get some new material or get the hell out. You cry too much. 31 minutes played, 4-4. For all. As Sabalenka gets a return winner. Love 15. Great return. Love 15. As the return goes in the forehand of Raducanu. Sabalenka forehand goes long, and it's 15-0. All right. 15-0. As Raducanu with great serve, 30-15. $30-15. As Raducanu serves again. Oh, double fault. All right, 30-0. Big hold needed for Raducanu here. She needs to get back. She needs to get in front. She works too hard to give the break back. $30-all. And the return goes back into Raducanu. Raducanu in the net. 30-40. $30-40. And Sabalenka returns into the forehand of Raducanu. Sabalenka slice. As Raducanu forehand to the forehand of Sabalenka. And Sabalenka gets it wide, and we get the deuce. Very important game. I can't Sabalenka too much screaming. I got 2 words for you. Boo-hoo. Great serve from Raducanu. Advantage. Advantage Raducanu. To take the lead. As Raducanu serves a fault. Second serve. Into the forehand to Sabalenka. Great return. Raducanu gets it, but overhits it. Back to deuce. Deuce. Double fault Raducanu. All right, advantage Sabalenka. Sabalenka returns it wide, and we get the deuce. Deuce. I don't know why people boast about Raducanu. She's mediocre, to be honest. God, a lot of people are complaining. This is not the complaints department. This is definitely not the customer service complaints. Just keep it to yourself or leave. Sabalenka's too loud. Raducanu's not that good. Okay, nobody cares. Move on. Please go and enjoy your Monday. As that goes out by Sabalenka. Okay, Raducanu holds. Good hold. She stays in. Well, she gets back in front. 2 games Raducanu, 4 games Sabalenka, 3 games Raducanu. Now Sabalenka serving to stay in the set. All right. Okay. Raducanu's getting told that she's not allowed to get coached. Ooh. Okay. So Raducanu went over to the coach, and the coach came out of his chair and sat and stood in the front row, which you're not allowed to do, apparently. You're not allowed. The coach is not allowed to approach the court, and the player's not allowed to approach. The player and coach can't be standing courtside talking to each other unless the seats are there and it's not at the end of the game, but if there's a delay in play or something. So yeah, that's strange. That I don't think anyone's been told off for too much coaching that much. Yeah, that's where the rule. Yeah, that's the overstepping of the rule. So the coach is allowed to yell from the chair, but he's not allowed to approach the court and give her instructions. This rule is dumb. Yeah, it's weird. It's like you're allowed to coach, but not like that. You can say things, but from a distance. It's like, okay. It seems like, okay, yeah, it's weird. It's like yeah. You're coaching a little too much. You're coaching a little bit too close. It's like, yeah, but I mean, if he can say it where he's sitting, and the only difference is that he's approached the court, I mean, he can still say it. It's strange. All right. 30 love. It's like, just let them do it. We're already letting cat's out of the bag, right? We're already letting players coach. What's the difference between the coach and player talking after a game? I mean, doesn't matter. It's all still coaching. They should have it should be either no coaching or just let them do whatever the hell they want. Like, I don't think we can let them do coaching with rules. Like, you can get coaching, but also this way, like in a certain. It's weird. He can talk to you, but from a distance. You're like, okay, 30-15. No, this has been a rule that's been around for like the last couple of years. 30-15. Sabalenka trying to level. As we return into the forehand, Sabalenka. Raducanu slice. And then Sabalenka with a lovely backhand volley. All right, 40-15. Sabalenka to level. $40-15. Sabalenka too strong. Sabalenka 5-0. Five. All right, Sabalenka with a slice in the net. That's 15 love. As the return goes into the backhand, Sabalenka. Raducanu backhand again at the backhand of Sabalenka. She hits it wide. 30 love. $30 love. As the return goes in the forehand, Sabalenka. And then Raducanu hits a lovely forehand win up. 40 love. $40 love. Nice work, Raducanu. 6-5. The coaching rule should never be in place. Let the players solve their problems. They had enough coaching and practice. Well, yeah, that's the argument, right? Is that, that it's... that tennis for the longest time was always about, one-on-one. Of course there was discreet coaching going on when there wasn't allowed. That's obvious. Yeah, obviously. I don't know. It's so hard to know whether or not it's helping or hurting anybody. Like, does it make any difference? I mean, it definitely sounds different, right? I think the only way we'll know if it makes a difference is if we went back to the way it was and to see what players do well and what players struggle, right? If the game doesn't change, let's say we ban coaching again, right? We go back to the way it was. If nothing changes, then it didn't make a difference. Or the players that were getting coached, they didn't need to. Like, it was just, you know what I mean? But they would never go back to the way it was because it was too hard to. It was too hard to like officiate, you know. And I don't think, and the players aren't complaining about it, so they're not going to change it. You know, no one. The only people, it's just the tennis purist, right? That we like. Oh, we want coaching to be out of the game. Like none of the coaches are going to say that. None of the players are going to say that. You know. I don't think we're going to go back to the way it was. And eventually it will just be normal and nobody will remember what it was like. 6-5. Sabalenka serving to get to a tiebreak. And even if the coaches say something, the player still has to execute, right? It's just in those moments where we all think, who none of us have played at that level, we all think, oh, well, yeah, you know, so-and-so got a bit of advice in a tough situation that they wouldn't have thought of themselves. That's not fair. Like, that's what we think, right? But to be honest, I mean, how often does that happen? You know? How often does a player get that piece of advice at that right moment? I mean, it's not a movie. Like, it sounds like a movie. Anyways, Raducanu comes to the net and pushes it long, and it's 30-love. Like that. Did Alcaraz win the French Open because Juan Carlos Ferrero said the right thing at the right time at match point down, and that's why he won? Probably not. It's probably just because Alcaraz is that damn good. You know. Also, most of the time, you wonder if the players can actually even hear their coaches because it's so loud. You know. 30-love. First serve is a fault. Second serve. Sometimes when players get talked to by their coaches, they get annoyed. So it can backfire. 40-love. The coach can be really yappy, and then the player's just like, shut up. I don't need your help. You're telling me too many things. 40-love. Most of the time, it's just positive reinforcement and some slight technical adjustments. Yeah. As the return goes back into Sabalenka, down the line of the front of Raducanu. Sabalenka backhand cross court win up. All right, tiebreak. Who you got, chat? It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride of a set. Couple of breaks. They did play tie breaks before. Did they play tie breaks in both their matches, or did they only last match? Only the last match. So the first set tie break was 8-6 at Wimbledon to Sabalenka. So Raducanu needs to win this set. A lot of people going with Raducanu. A few Sabalenka as well. Okay. As the return goes into the forehand of Raducanu. Backhand. No, that's out by Raducanu. 1-love Sabalenka. 1-0. First serve is a fault. Second serve. Into the back of Raducanu. Sabalenka into the slice of Raducanu. And Sabalenka hits it off the tape. Raducanu gets it back. Forehand. Goes down the line from Sabalenka. Slice Raducanu. And then Sabalenka slices it wide. And it's 1-1. 1-1. How many times have players been penalized because of coaching? Should be permitted? Yeah. I think there's a lot of confusion between like what was coaching and what was like encouragement. So again, I don't think they're ever going to go back to no coaching. Just because the umpires probably find it easier to... The rules are a lot easier Like, you can coach, but you can't do this. You can't approach, them after the game. But, there's rules, a little bit easier to umpire, As the return goes out by Raducanu, 2-1. 2-1 Sabalenka. As Raducanu serves. Fault. Second serve. Sabalenka returns the backhand of Raducanu. Sabalenka hits a forehand winner. Too strong. 3-1. First serve is a fault. Second serve. Double fault Raducanu. Sabalenka with the double mini break now in the tie break, 4-1. Raducanu is having a chat with the coach. And Sabalenka serves an ace down the tee, 5-1. These people are all pathetic when they play top 5 opponents. What are you talking about? We're playing a tiebreak. So many double faults at horrible moments. Chat, are we forgetting who Raducanu's playing? Cam, tiebreak rules are stupid. You serve first, then the other player serves twice, and then gets to serve first next serve. I can't change that. I didn't make the rules. Why are you yelling at me for? 5-1. Sabalenka serves another ace. 6-1. 5 set points for Sabalenka. Sabalenka. Everyone sounds cranky today. Yeah, it's Monday. Everyone was pissed off because they went to work. They had to go to work. All right. 6-2. Good serve, Raducanu. 1 saved. Always getting robbed. That's why you're cranky. Is it because you bet on Raducanu? Like, that's stop. If you bet on a match and you cry, then that's you gotta sort it out. If you're gambling and then you're complaining about gambling, that's a you problem. You gotta figure that out. Don't bring it here. Don't bring that negativity here. We don't need that shit. We don't do that. Anyways, Sabalenka goes to the slice for Raducanu. Sabalenka volley. Raducanu with a forehand pass. Sabalenka volleys again. Raducanu backhand pass. It's too good. All right, 6-3. I bet on first set. See, there you go. Chat, that's always the reason. Hey, thanks, Deb, for the schedule. What are we doing tomorrow? What's happening tomorrow? Oh, I get to sleep in. Yay. Alcaraz in the afternoon. Okay. God, the night matches are never any good, are they? They're really not putting any good night matches on. Except for Sinner today. All right. 6-3. Sabalenka set point. Great serve down the tee. Sabalenka 7-6. Takes the tiebreak. Just too strong. Sabalenka's just too strong. In those key moments. 7-6. 7-6. Sabalenka just too damn strong. All right. Wasn't the prettiest set. 5 double faults Raducanu, but if you don't know why she would hit 5 double faults against Sabalenka, then you don't know who Sabalenka is or you don't ever watch tennis. 13 winners, 20 errors from Sabalenka, so not pretty. 9 winners and 14 errors Raducanu, both broke each other twice. Emma needs to improve her second serve percentage. Chat. Like, she's playing Sabalenka. Like, why are we all like confused? Like, why are there so many people in the chat being like, oh man, her serve's really bad. Oh my God, so many double faults. Her second serve needs to improve. Hello? She's playing one of the greatest returners in the world, if not the most aggressive, intimidating returner on the planet. Arguably the most aggressive returner since Serena. A player that was raised on watching Serena and idolized Serena's game, incorporated into her own. You wonder why Raducanu double faults against that person? Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? People acting like Raducanu's playing like somebody who's not number one in the world, who's not by a mile, by the way. Sabalenka is number one by a long way, not even close at the moment. Like, why am I explaining this? This seems so silly to explain. Like, really? We need to justify why this is happening? It's crazy. It's crazy. That's crazy. I feel like that's so like tennis 101. Sabalenka's a crazy good returner, like, and scary, intimidating as fuck. Like, what are we talking about? Like, that's not rocket science. It's pretty simple. It's 1 + 1. Like, come on now. Love 15. All right. Sabalenka serving first and the second. Love 15. Hit a fold, second serve. Second serve. And return goes in net from Raducanu. 15-0. You should pay attention to Emma's second serve percentage. All right, let me check the first round. What was it? Danilovic. You know what? No, you should check second serve percentage against other players, because against Danilovic, she was 92%. And today she's 33%. You're telling me to do my research? What the fuck are you talking? No. You're telling me to do homework? I watch tennis every goddamn day. It's 4 in the morning. We watched Danilovic Raducanu, and Raducanu won 92% of second serve points. You're telling me Danilovic has got a great return. She's got a big, scary game. You're telling me to do my research? What the hell? Dude told me to go to school. That's crazy. 30-15. Crazy. You picked what? Oh, sorry, I picked the wrong match today. You want me to pick the match that makes you sound right? Okay. 40-15 is Sabalenka to win a 1 love. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You want me to pick the match that makes you sound correct? Okay, hang on. Let me find what happened last week. All right. Oh, you want me to pick the match against Anisimova that had 20%? Oh, okay, because Anisimova's not good. Against Rosé, she was 68%. Against Stearns was 68 as well. So you want me to pick the match that against the Wimbledon finalist, who is a Sabalenka type. Again, what do you want me? What match do you want me to pick to make you sound right? Because at the moment I pick 4 matches, and none of them are in your favor. I don't get it. Like, what do you want me to pick? What do you want me to do? 68, 68, 92. Second serve points won. Against Anisimova, who played amazing, and also Anisimova and Sabalenka are very similar types. She had a very bad percentage because the returning of Anisimova is pretty good, and Sabalenka's got a good return. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm trying to make you sound correct. Help me. All right, one love Sabalenka. I think we can move on now. Raducanu was struggling on second serve against big returners. Yeah, which is totally normal. Yeah, not a surprise. Exactly, right? Totally understandable. Not to mention she's playing today the biggest, or the best returner, like the best, like number 1 player in the world. It's just another Manic Monday. 15-0. As that forehand goes long by Sabalenka, 30-15. The hard part for Raducanu now is trying not to remember what happened the last 2 times they played. You know, it's like, shit, I've been losing against this lady. Not winning a set in the matches they played is this is where it becomes, for Raducanu, a mental battle. Now, let me look at the schedule for tomorrow. So, Alcaraz is playing Gauff Yastremski tomorrow afternoon. That's wild. I thought that'd be a night match for sure. Pegula Lynette tomorrow night. Zverev Nakashima. Opelka Komisanya. Okay. Rublev Popyrin. All right, so it's kind of that, like, look, we'll watch the big guns, you know. One all. One. Sabalenka serves a fault. Second serve. Second serve. Sabalenka, 15 love. First serve, the fault. Second serve. All right, 15-0. As we get a let from Sabalenka. Serve again. Is too strong. See, the thing that makes Sabalenka so dangerous, so scary, against pretty much everybody, is she's got a crazy big serve, so good luck breaking her unless she double faults, which doesn't happen that much anymore. But then when she holds, because it's so hard to break, she then attacks your second serve with just as much as aggression as she has on her serve. So you can never have a nice time. Like it's never you know what I mean? Like you serve and then she attacks. And then she serves and you can't get the returns. Like it's like, and you wonder why she's number one. Like, and it was different when she was double faulting a lot because you could, okay, well if I, maybe I can win her against her serve. But now that she doesn't double fault the way she used to, it's no surprise she's number one in the world. I mean, she's impossible to beat. She hits a ridiculous inside-out backhand winner 40-30. The only times that she becomes vulnerable is in the finals of massive tournaments where the pressure is high and she can sometimes falter, right? That's the only times we've seen sort of in the last couple of years where, she's played a lot of finals and she's struggled. Indian Wells this year, the two Grand Slam finals she's made, unless you have the firepower like Anisimova does or did at Wimbledon, like unless you have that same, I've got a big serve, I can hit return winners. If you don't have those things, God, it's tough. Like to play Sabalenka is tough. If you don't have a big serve that she can't get back, or you can't return her serve as aggressive as she returns yours, right? It's like it makes it real tough. Or if you don't have great defense, right? Gauff has great defense, which troubles Sabalenka. But yeah. But sometimes that's not even enough. Like you could get great defense, but you still lose, right? It's like that's just like to give yourself a chance. Crazy. She's that good. It's like Serena and Sharapova combined. The power of Serena and the intensity of Sharapova. As that goes out by Raducanu and it's advantage Sabalenka. But the best, she can come to the net, she can volley. I mean, Sabalenka, she's even been putting in drop shots, Sabalenka. She's starting to, the last year or so, she's been doing, changing it up from, power to drop shots and mixing it up. I mean, she is as scary as it gets. And should have way more Grand Slams. We can all agree. Chat, would you say that Sabalenka right now? I mean, she's number one in the world, but is Sabalenka the most complete player since Serena? When it comes to serve, returns, power, variety, yeah, okay, she's not like Mukova, right? But she doesn't have the silkiness of Mukova, right? The volleys and the but she can still do all those things. It's not like she comes to the net and she doesn't know what to do. Serena is the GOAT. Stop comparing her with kid Sabalenka. Can you just relax? I didn't say Sabalenka is Serena. I said since Serena. Just stop crying. Also, you've been crying the entire stream, so maybe you should go outside. Maybe you should leave. I don't think complete is the right word. The most dominant player since Serena. All around dominant. player. She's definitely the most intimidating player since Serena. I don't think that's a... Like, even though Swiatek was on a streak for that long time, 2022 was a different time where not everybody was obviously in 2023, Gauff and Sabalenka figured out something that was competitive. Maybe complete's not the right, maybe dominant. Maybe if she moved better. I think Sabalenka's got just like fine defense. It's not like her strength because it wasn't Serena's strength anyway. The strength of those players is not about running around trying to get the ball back, but they can. I mean, Sabalenka's movements as like for an aggressive player is great. She gets a lot more shots back than... I mean, have you seen some of the highlights she's hit this year? Where she's been on the run hitting passing shot winners? I mean, I think her defense is fine when it's not her main focus. All right, 15 love. As Raducanu shanks it long, 15-0. $15-all. As Raducanu serves again. And hits a return winner of a first serve. Who else does that? It's crazy. 15-30. 15-30. 15-30. As the return goes in the backhand of Raducanu. Backhand out from Sabalenka. Into the backhand of Raducanu. Sabalenka forehand again to the backhand of Raducanu. Sabalenka with a slice. Raducanu slices it back to the backhand of Sabalenka. Raducanu forehand winner. Lovely shot, 30-all. Yeah, it's interesting because like comparing her to Swiatek's dominant on the scoreboard. Because yeah, look, bagels for sure. Like Swiatek like bagels a lot. But I'm just trying to think like, yeah, man, it's like a different. They're two different ways to. Yeah, that's a good point. The 40-30. I mean, Swiatek dominates on the scoreboards. I mean, she bagels everybody, all that stuff. Yeah, they play different games. Like, they're different ways to go about just kicking ass. Maybe intimidating is the word. Maybe dominating is not the word. Maybe it's intimidating is the word. Because I don't think Swiatek's as intimidating as Sabalenka. I think we can agree with that. All right, 2-0. In the second. But the thing, I mean, look, I don't want to be that, but I'm going to be that person. If Swiatek was so dominant, and I like Swiatek, we all love watching her. If she was so dominant, then why is she number 3? Like, you know, right now, why is Swiatek number 3 if she's more dominant than Sabalenka? Right? Like, that's the argument. I mean, but she's not that far away. Maybe by the end of the year, that'll change, and Swiatek will be back on top and will be like, yep, Swiatek's the most dominant player. She's number 1. Because you can't win everything? Yeah, but you can win a lot. And Sabalenka's obviously won a lot. Otherwise, she wouldn't be number 1. Look, I'm just saying. By the way, why are there so many Swiatek fans watching Sabalenka? That's weird. She's playing tomorrow. She's not playing today. 15-0. As the return goes into the forehand of Sabalenka. Raducanu forehand to the forehand of Sabalenka. And Sabalenka hits a lovely winner. 30-15. Look, you don't have to tell me. I know all the reasons why Swiatek doesn't have more points. I know. I'm just saying, the argument would be, well, Sabalenka's number 1 and Swiatek's number 3, then how can you say that the number 3 is more dominant than the number 1? I'm just saying. I know you can tell me that she didn't play the Asian swing and that she was banned and that wasn't, blah, 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 blah. You can tell me all those things. I know. You could also say, oh, well, Sabalenka hasn't won a Grand Slam all year, but Swiatek has. So there you go. How do you pick Sabalenka? You could say that too. I'm just saying that's what people would say if they were trying to argue against you. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that people have to choose between the two. I'm not saying it's not about who you like. We're just trying to figure out who is more dominating out of the two. (40-15) and Sabalenka in the net. All right, 40-30. Sabalenka just stay in front. Serve again. And Sabalenka smokes the forehand for a winner. And it's 3-2. Sabalenka in the second. All right. All right. All right. 1 hour played. Cam, who do you think is the best player since Serena? The best player since Serena? I mean, it's got to be Swiatek, right? She's won 3 of the 4 slams. She's dominated, parts of the year, or at least that 2022 season was crazy. So it's Swiatek. It's got to be Swiatek, right? It could have been Sabalenka. Again, that's why I'm saying, maybe Sabalenka being the most dominant player since Serena is not the right word. It might be, she's definitely the most intimidating. No doubt. But then again, before Wimbledon, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It would be an easy Sabalenka over Swiatek, easily. But because Swiatek won Wimbledon, it starts up again. We start talking again, right? Things get interesting. But before Wimbledon, none of you would have been here defending Swiatek or saying that Swiatek was better than Sabalenka. It was all Sabalenka and Swiatek should fire a coach and retire, or whatever you were saying. Whatever people were saying, You have said several times that Swiatek is a generational player. It's your words. I know, but why are you... That's why I'm saying. I'm trying to find... Again, why are Swiatek fans watching Sabalenka? What do we do? You bored? 15-0. Yeah, Wimbledon is a massive deal for Swiatek for sure. Had Sabalenka won the French, it would have maybe been an interesting... I mean, look, we all know Sabalenka should have won Roland Garros or Australia, right? We know that. And then we would have had a different conversation right now. But the best player since Serena is Swiatek. I don't even know how you could say that it's not. Because look at all the numbers, right? 40-15, Raducanu with an ace. And I feel like you could make a case for both players who's the most dominant since Serena, because Swiatek, yeah, she bagels a lot of players. She's probably got a better top 10 record against top 10 than Sabalenka, I would guess. Because and then look at some of the score lines against top 10. Swiatek would just make them look like, like terrible. Sabalenka doesn't do that. But with her game, Sabalenka is the most dominant, has the most dominant game since Serena. Like the way she plays, when Sabalenka's playing her best, and the way she plays, I think that's a more dominant style. Just because of the power, right? It's just a more powerful style, right? Then again, Swiatek when she's on fire, but she doesn't play... she's got precision. Someone said before, precision versus strength. So it's like, yeah, it's, it's a different way to, they're both dominant, but they play differently. They do it two different ways, right? 3-3, by the way. It's just fun that we can have this conversation. Because it's always fun to have... Like, they're each other's biggest rival, no doubt. They just don't play each other as much as we want in the slams. 3-3. As Raducanu hits a return, love 15. Do you think Sabalenka would trade off a number 1 ranking for a Grand Slam this year? Of course. Because Grand Slams are more important than number 1. All right. Love 15. First serve is a fault. Second serve. Yeah, Nicolette, that might be... Yeah, Sabalenka most dominant style, like game, but Swiatek most dominant results. That's a good way of putting it. Love 30, by the way. Love 30. Love 30. As the return goes back in Sabalenka. And Sabalenka in the net. Love 40. Raducanu. Love 40. Raducanu to get the break here in the middle of the second. Serve is too strong. 50-40. One saved. Serve. Here's a fault. Second serve. Second serve. Into the forehand of Raducanu. Return goes wide. 30-40. For me, Swiatek's a more better all-round player. I mean, we can play that game as well. That might be. Let's play. We will play that game after this. All right, second serve, Sabalenka. Serving to the forehand of Raducanu. Back into Sabalenka. Into the forehand of Raducanu. Sabalenka forehand. Into that Raducanu forehand. Sabalenka on the stretch. Gets it. Raducanu into that forehand of Sabalenka in the net. There it is. Break. Raducanu. 4-3 in the second. So, chat, what, like, how should we rate, like, how do we pick, like, what are the categories we need to pick, right, between the two players? So, mentality, right? That's obviously one. Power. What else? We'll just go, like, ground strokes, net game, serve. Just to keep it easy. Defense. Speed. Consistency. Speed / movement / defense should all be one thing, I think. I think that's all the same thing. All right, so who's got a better mentality between Sabalenka and Swiatek? You tell me, chat. Who has a better mentality between Swiatek and Sabalenka? Who takes that? Swiatek, right? We'll agree. Power goes to Sabalenka easily. Defense? Does Swiatek have better defense than Sabalenka? She's definitely quicker. I'm just trying to... I mean... we'll give it to Swiatek. I think defense goes Swiatek. I'm trying... I mean, yeah, Gauff. Okay, yeah, good one. She does. Gauff wins that, but she's not in this conversation. I would say the net game goes to Sabalenka. I think the serve goes to Sabalenka. What about ground strokes? Would it be Would you go Swiatek or Sabalenka? Who wins the ground strokes? Oh, not again. This is not against each other, by the way. This is just in general. This is in general. Would you go Swiatek? That is a tough one, right? Because it's like, well, do you go with Swiatek's pinpoint accuracy, top spin, or do you go with Sabalenka's brute strength? I think that I would rather go with Swiatek. Because I think Swiatek's shots, the heaviness of the ball with the spin, is harder to control and defend against than Sabalenka's power. Because we've seen Sabalenka hit massive shots, but if you're quick enough and you can get them back, you can produce errors from Sabalenka. Whereas I don't think Swiatek's... Like, you get the ball back against Swiatek, she's going to hit those shots all day, right? So I'm going to go, I think, and again, it's funny because like Gauff is an interesting conversation to have because Gauff does better against Sabalenka than Swiatek over their time. Confidence, obviously, there's some confidence for that too, right? But when you see Swiatek play her best against Gauff compared to Sabalenka playing her best against Gauff, Goff's got a better chance of beating Sabalenka when Sabalenka's playing well than Swiatek, I think. So I think that's a good, like... So I'm going to go ground stroke Swiatek. I'd rather go with accuracy and consistency than Sabalenka's power and volatility. So I think Swiatek wins, but it's like this much. Because it's so different the way they play. But I would go Swiatek. I think Swiatek's ground strokes are more... are harder to play. Because also, the amount of players that hit the ball hard, and flat, you'd play them more often, right? The way Swiatek plays, not many players play like that. So you don't get to play that kind of style against that style, right? So it's harder to prepare yourself for too, right? Okay, so then consistency. Who wins the consistency game? And I'm not saying within the match. I'm saying I guess we're talking about their results, right? Because Sabalenka's pretty damn consistent. At least recently, more so than Swiatek. But then, it's 40-30 Raducanu. I mean, Sabalenka's consistency on all surfaces at the highest level is better than Swiatek's. Like Sabalenka, if you look at Sabalenka at 1000s and Grand Slams over the last couple of years, she makes the later rounds more often. And I'm not just talking about last year, because I know people are going to be like, but Cam, she didn't get to play. I know. But I'm talking about like Canada, Cincinnati over the last few years. I'm talking about Wimbledon. I'm talking about French Open, like Australian Open, right? I think Sabalenka's results at big tournaments is more consistent. I mean, she wouldn't be number one if she wasn't, right? If it wasn't. Queen of consistency since 2022, Swiatek. I don't know if you're getting confused with 2022 was really, really good. Because since 2020, I mean, we can't really judge Sabalenka's 22 because it wasn't the same as what she's been now. I think it's only fair if we judge between 2023 and now for consistency, because Sabalenka's been the player she is now since 2023, and Swiatek's 2022 she hasn't been like that since then, right? So I don't think, like, peak Swiatek is still 2022. So I think it's not fair to kind of compare the two in that season, because Sabalenka was not the same player and Swiatek hasn't been that dominant since then when it comes to like winning streak, right? As Sabalenka to win a 15-0. So yeah, so consistency is a tough one. Let me have a look. I will find out the answer. I wonder what their 1,000 wins have been since 2023. So Sabalenka at Grand Slams, 58 wins, 7 losses since 2023. And then at 1000s is 97 and 26. Sabalenka double faults, 15-30. Did she double fault? No. It was a let. Now it's a second serve. As Raducanu in the net, 30-15. All right, 30-15. Sabalenka trying to stay in the set. As we return into the forehand of Sabalenka. And then Sabalenka comes in and puts it away. And it's 40-15. As a return goes out by Raducanu, Sabalenka holds. All right, so let me just have a look. Just trying to compare the two with results in the last two seasons. I tell you, chat, doing this is very interesting because it's very close. Very, very close. Because in the last 2 seasons, so since 2023, they've both won 3 slams, which makes it very interesting. Swiatek has a slightly better win-loss record than Sabalenka. But I'll tell you it all in a second because it is a very interesting... It's a very interesting comparison. It's okay. So Sabalenka's made more Grand Slam finals than Swiatek since 2023, but they've both got 3 slams. Sabalenka's made 6 finals, won 3. Swiatek's made 3 finals, won 3. So Sabalenka, Sabalenka should have more Grand Slams, but than Swiatek since 2023. Swiatek's won 13 titles compared to Sabalenka's 10, but Sabalenka hasn't won a title below 1,000 levels. So she's won 10 titles, all of them 1,000s or Grand Slams. Swiatek's won 10 titles, Grand Slams and 1,000s combined. So they both won 3 Grand Slams and 7 1,000s in the last 2 seasons. Swiatek's won 3 smaller titles, which was Stuttgart was a couple of those, right? So she's won smaller titles than some of the smaller titles that Sabalenka hasn't won. 15 love. Sabalenka too strong, and it's 15-0. Swiatek has 177 wins and 32 losses since 2023. And Sabalenka is 159 wins and 37 losses. So Swiatek slightly ahead of that. 49 wins, 8 losses at Grand Slams for Swiatek. 58 wins, 7 losses for Sabalenka at Grand Slams. So Sabalenka at Slams, better. And then at 1,000 level, 96 wins, 21 losses Swiatek with 7 titles. 97 wins, 26 losses for Sabalenka with 7 titles. So almost identical. Now Sabalenka net 30-15. So I feel like consistency is almost identical. Compared with Serena, why would we do that? That's not what we're doing today. I guess the tiebreak might be top 10 wins. Who's had better success against the best? That might be the only way we can break, who's more consistent against the top players. Because I feel like it would be Swiatek. 30-15 as that goes out by Sabalenka, 40-15. Because I tell you, Swiatek wins more matches, but she also probably plays more smaller tournaments where Sabalenka misses those smaller tournaments, right? She doesn't play the smaller events. Also, she hasn't been able to play Billie Jean King Cup or United Cup where Swiatek has, right? Not that they would make up 20 extra wins or, whatever. Anyways, 40-15. Raducanu's about to win a set for the first time against Sabalenka. Serve is a fault. Second serve. Is a let. As Raducanu serves again. A second serve ace! As she wins the set. Her first set against Sabalenka. Raducanu takes it 6-4. All right. Raducanu takes the set. Her first ever set against Sabalenka. All right. So when it comes to... Oh, man, chat. This is so... this conversation is so rough to say who's been more dominant since 2023, or who's been better, because Swiatek has 30 wins, 15 losses against top 10 players since then. Sabalenka, 27 wins, 15 losses since 2023. So, again, slight edge to Swiatek. I guess who's had worse losses? Maybe that's a better... Who's lost more? Like, who's had a better record against low-ranked players? Players outside the top 20. So, Swiatek, 118 and 11 win-loss record against players outside the top 20. And Sabalenka, 106 and 16. So again, very close. But I think consistency goes to Swiatek by this much. I think we've got to give it to Swiatek. Oh, it's hard. Because how do you argue that 6 Grand Slam finals is more than... Like, that's a lot. Why are we saying only since 2023? Because Swiatek in 2022 was so dominant, and it would not be fair to compare Sabalenka 2022 with Sabalenka 2020. Like, Sabalenka in 22 was not the same player she is now, and Swiatek was head and shoulders above everybody else before everybody else got better, right? So it's not, I don't think it's like, it's more fun to talk about since 2023, since Sabalenka's been this player, right? Since Sabalenka's turned into this player. Because, of course, if we say in the 2020s who's been the most dominant player or who's been the best player, it's Swiatek. It's easy. That's an easy answer. But right now, since Sabalenka's gotten good, in the last, 2 seasons where Sabalenka's been her best, who's been better? It's very close. Very close. Now, this isn't a career, because obviously it's Swiatek's the easy answer. We're just talking about who's been the best player lately, in the last. It's great because it's awesome that we get to even have this conversation, right? I love that we can talk about this as a proper rivalry. Swiatek wasn't playing much in 2023. What do you mean? Of course she was. Of course she was. Swiatek has not had a good year until Wimbledon. So we'd still say Sabalenka lately. Yeah, but that makes a big difference. Is Sabalenka talking to her coach frustrated right now? Looks like she did against Coco at the French. Maybe. I think she went to the bathroom, so I don't know. Points-wise, Sabalenka is head and shoulders over Swiatek. Yeah, that's true. But that's only in the last 12 months, right? We're talking about the last, 2 years. Because the last 52 weeks, yeah, Sabalenka's got more points. But we're talking about 2023 to now. You can't just base it on the ranking points. At least not based on the ranking points of I mean, you could base it on ranking points since then, but I don't know how we could figure that out. Yeah, it's tricky. I wonder how many tournaments Sabalenka's played in the same time since, because I think Swiatek's been more active in the last 2 years than Sabalenka. I don't think Sabalenka's played as much, which is kind of crazy because she's how good she is. Oh no, Sabalenka's played. They played this. Oh, have they? So Swiatek's played 45 events in the last 2 years. Last 3 years, sorry. 23, 24, 25. I'm thinking, sorry, it's 2.5 years. We're going off 2.5 years worth of stuff. So in the last 2.5 years, Sabalenka has played has played 47 matches or 47 tournaments, and Swiatek's played 45. I would have thought Swiatek played more. Why do I think that? When has Sabalenka played more? Because last year's Asian Swing, Swiatek wasn't there. Yeah, so she takes away 2 tournaments which Sabalenka had, but Sabalenka didn't play Wimbledon last year, so it's like that's. But then Sabalenka played Canada when Swiatek played the Olympics, so they kind of both played, and then they both played Cincinnati. So it's like, yeah. Look, if Swiatek hadn't been banned and she played those 2 tournaments, maybe it would have been easy to pick that. Swiatek might have been the answer. We might have been like, this conversation might not have happened. Sabalenka played Washington as well. Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah. Again, I'll give. It's hard because as soon as you say, as soon as I think Swiatek's been more consistent. You then go, well, how does Sabalenka make 6 Grand Slam finals and not be more consistent? But also, Swiatek makes the Grand Slam finals and wins. Whereas Sabalenka, she's made the finals and she's 50-50. So, consistency of winning, you got to say Swiatek. Anyway, Sabalenka 7 first and the third. Love 15. Swiatek, when she plays, she wins. And when she makes those big tournament finals, let me have a look at what finals records, because that might be also. I'm sure Swiatek leads that, right? Finals, final wins. So Sabalenka's 10 wins, 10 losses in finals since 2023. Swiatek 13-4. I mean. 13-4. She's lost to Sabalenka, Pegula, Gauff, and Krejcikova in the finals of tournaments. Whereas, Swiatek has beaten Sabalenka 3 times in finals since 23. Gauff, Rybakina, Penko, Keys, Andreeva. I think Swiatek might just take the consistency. Ah, 15:30. Anyways, great. Hopefully that was fun. I don't think we came with any answers. I would say since 2023, Swiatek is slightly ahead of Sabalenka when it comes to who's the better player. But because obviously, no doubt, if you say who's better, who's had a better career, it's Swiatek, right? Easy. But since 2023, it's these two. They've been the 2 best players, and they're very, very close. It's hard. You could make a strong argument for both, but I'll go Swiatek. I think Swiatek just takes it when it comes to who's been the better player since 2023. I still think Swiatek's been better, but. You could easily say Sabalenka, and it would be hard to argue. Why doesn't anyone mention Barty? Because Barty didn't play. We're talking about 2023 to now. Barty hasn't played since 2022. 40-30. Sabalenka serves in the back of Raducanu. Raducanu hits out, and it's 1-love Sabalenka in the third. Sabalenka's 3 years older. That's got nothing to do with what's age got to do with it. What are you talking about? It's got nothing to do with who's older. It's not like 2 years ago Swiatek was 16, All right. Raducanu serving. Why have you spent the last 20 minutes moaning about another player? Shut up, shut up, shut up. One love. 15 love, Raducanu. Love. As a return goes net by Sabalenka. 30 love. Love. $40 love. Really, Cam? Why were you moaning about Swiatek for 35 minutes? $40 love. Some of you are really just love to like. Just because you're having a shitty day doesn't mean you have to make everyone else feel bad. 40 love. Look, I'm sorry you're having a bad Monday. I really am. And I wish I could help you, but don't come in here and try and ruin everyone else's. We're having a lovely conversation. We're just having a chat. Ciao from Italy. All right, bye. God damn. God. Fun police. Out in force on a Monday. 1-0. Hopefully your day gets better. The discussion was actually interesting. Thank you. I found it interesting, so get stuffed. You don't like it? Tough shit. Go watch tennis somewhere else. We don't need you here. Just It's all tennis. It's called tennis talk. Yeah, exactly. People forget. They come in here expecting something, and it's like, oh wait, why are you talking about other tennis? Because I can. There's no rules. I have a semi-final at 4:50 tonight. Wish me luck. Good luck. And if you lose, you're out of the family. 50. I'm kidding. Good luck. Do us proud. As Raducanu hits it out, it's 30 love. $30 love. $30 love. Swiatek never lost back-to-back matches for almost 4 years. Queen of consistent. That's a good point. That's a good point. 30 love. Sabalenka double faults. 30-15. What do you think Mboko's ceiling is? I don't know. We have to see her back up that. We have to see how she backs up the title last week. We haven't even seen her play. It's a shame. I wish we did see her play this week. Even if she had lost this week, I don't think we can judge her performance this week because of she would have been tied. But I think ask me that question at the end of the season. We'll have a much better idea. Because Mboko played great. She was great. Had a great week, but It's hard to guess that, you know. Ask me at the end of the year when we've watched more tennis, like when she's, you know, now that she's got expectations on her, we'll see how she deals with that. But she's great. She's great to watch. She's got a lot of good qualities. 30-0. Was it a backhand slice on the stretch from Raducanu? The backhand Sabalenka. Raducanu slice again. Sabalenka gets it out. Raducanu's got a break point. 30-40. 30-40. As the return goes in, the back of Sabalenka. Raducanu puts up a lob, but it's out. Deuce. Who has the crowd? I think Raducanu's got the crowd. I think they're slightly on her side. All right, deuce. Sabalenka serves again. Into the backhand of Raducanu, and then Sabalenka hits a very strange winner, but it's a winner. 40 advantage Sabalenka. Sabalenka Raducanu match at Wimbledon was high quality. Is this there up there? It's not the same quality. It's definitely lower quality, but it's as competitive, which is good. You know, just because it's not as, you know, sometimes we'll take errors if it's close. All right, deuce. As a return goes out by Raducanu, advantage Sabalenka. Advantage Sabalenka. As with a backhand winner by Sabalenka, and it's 2-1. 2-1. Sabalenka's serve is carrying her right now. Yep. 2-1. Sabalenka is becoming more angry and aggressive. Yeah. Sabalenka is nice when she's winning and not nice if she's not. Raducanu is always nice. Cool, when you get extra points for that. Like maybe social credit points. You get like who cares? Popularity points. like what do you want? Raducanu shows absolutely no emotion when on court. Completely different to Sabalenka. Cool. Yep, that's true. If Raducanu wins, I'd like her to go to the semifinals with Swiatek and see if she has a chance against her. Well, that'd be fun. All right, 2-1. How is Sabalenka not nice? I don't know. That's just somebody's opinion. All right. Raducanu serves again. Sabalenka's got the lead, 2-1. After this, we've got Fritz taking on Sonigo, which is so much fun. I love watching Sonigo. I think he's such a fun player to watch. Such an entertaining player. And a very tough matchup for Fritz, which Fritz doesn't need to win, but it's an opportunity for him. 2-1. And Sabalenka returns and Raducanu in the net. Love 15. Sonigo is an entertainer and a fighter. Oh, yeah. As we get a return now from Sabalenka to the forehand of Raducanu. Sabalenka hits it out. 15-all. All right, serve. In the fault, second serve. Why even bother watching Sinner anymore? I mean, it's just going to be one-sided match, except when he gets to the final. Boo! 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 Boo this man. Boo! Everybody, we got to boo this man. Boo this man. Boo! 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 Then don't stay up. We don't need you. 15:30. Boo! No, not moo. I said boo. Anyway, it's 15:30. Chance for Sabalenka to get the break. Point. As the return goes to forehand of Raducanu. Back in now from Sabalenka in the net. 30-all. 30-all. Two hours played, by the way. Kind of snuck up. 30-all. He has a point. Boo! Boo! You're a member, Ming. You can't say that. Boo! 30-all. As that goes out by Raducanu from Sabalenka. Raducanu 40-30. Do you think we will follow your instructions? Yes, we will boo. Thank you. How dare you come in here and say, oh, why are we watching the world number one? He's boring. Boo! Boo! Come and say that in the match that we watch. There's no Sinner fans here, so you're don't be scared. Come to the Sinner match and say that. Good luck. He has a point. Boo! Chat, I'm booing you all. What the hell? Boo! I kind of agree, chat. I'm going to boo all of you. 2-all, Raducanu holds. Anyone who agrees, you are not welcome in the Sinner match. Never come to a Sinner match until he plays the final against Alcaraz. All right? You are not. You're all. You can all stay home. Don't even bother. Go to sleep or something. I don't know. Go to bed. It's too. Go to sleep. Don't moo. It's a boo. Not moo. Anyways, 2-all. Raducanu keeping level as she puts up a lob. Goes in. Sabalenka hits a forehand for a winner. 15 love. Love. That's a bit of fault from Sabalenka. Second serve. Sabalenka serves again. Return goes in the backhand of Sabalenka. Raducanu backhand winner. 15-0. $15-0. All right, 15-0. Serving to the forehand of Raducanu. Return goes to the forehand of Sabalenka, who hits it wide. 15-30. We should only watch Alcaraz when he's playing. Why are you still here? We should only watch Sinner when he plays Alcaraz. Why are you still here? 15-30. And Sabalenka serves. Alcaraz is bad? Well, that's definitely a terrible take. God, it's Monday. People have lost their minds already. Too early in the week to lose your mind. God damn. People can't have opinions? No. You forget where you were? What the hell do you think this is? That goes out by Raducanu 30-0. What the hell are you talking about opinions? What the hell? You think you can say whatever you want here? The hell? Crazy. That's crazy. $30-0. As a return goes out by Raducanu 40-30. All right, 40-30. Sabalenka to stay in front. As the return goes in the forehand of Sabalenka. Forehand from Raducanu. Again, the forehand of Sabalenka. Raducanu forehand into the slice of Sabalenka, who puts in the net. We get the deuce. All right, big points coming up. We get the deuce. All right, deuce. As Sabalenka serves the fault, second serve. Second serve. 2 hours and 8 minutes played, by the way. Second serve. Into the forehand of Raducanu. Return goes long. There's a solid second serve. Advantage Sabalenka. Advantage Sabalenka. Sabalenka serves a fault, second serve. Second serve. Ooh, double fault, back to deuce. Deuce. As the return goes back into Sabalenka. Drop shot's no good. Raducanu gets it, and then Sabalenka hits a passing shot winner anyway. And it's advantage Sabalenka. Right, advantage Sabalenka. As the return goes forehand to Sabalenka. Forehand from Raducanu. Goes long. Just goes long. 3-2. Sabalenka stays in front. Ooh. Sabalenka needs to sort out her game out. She just needs to be clutch the way that she is. Raducanu just needs to hang in. All right. It's May reach 3 hours. Yeah, it's been a pretty long match. I'm sure Sabalenka can stream her way to victory. Yeah, sure. I didn't think Sabalenka would sweat this much today. I thought it would be easy straight sets. Really? Okay. I mean, Raducanu's been playing well, and also played so well against her at Wimbledon. I thought after the first set, I thought that Sabalenka would maybe run away with the second a little bit, but credit Raducanu for hanging on. Sorry, Sabalenka is like Sharapova, a scream child. And your point? What's your point? What's your point? Sabalenka grunts. And what's your point? 3-2. And it's not fair. Is that what I'm going to hear next? And it's not fair. It's not fair. It's really unfair. Sabalenka makes noise when she hits the ball, and it's not fair. God. I wish I could complain about just that. 15 love. The barber's closed? Yeah, they are forever. All right. Boy, Sabalenka didn't look great after hitting that shot. 15 love. As return goes the backhand of Sabalenka. Backhand of Raducanu. And then Sabalenka gets it wide. 30 love. That's my normal voice, exactly. Oh no, real voice revealed. Oh no. Oh no. I mean, oh no, it's so not fair. It's not fair. 30 love. Her grunts are annoying. Can you hear do you guys hear what you say it sound like? Anyway, it's 30 love. Forehand into the forehand of Raducanu. Forehand from Sabalenka. Into the forehand of Raducanu. Sabalenka forehand to the backhand of Raducanu. Sabalenka forehand again to the slice of Raducanu. And then Sabalenka hits another bad error. 40 love. All right. 40 love. Is Raducanu too good? 3-0. By the way, chat, just for all those people that complain about the screaming, your screaming about the screaming is just as annoying. Like, just remember that. You're part of the problem. You're adding to the problem. So just, if you think it, just the crying about the screaming is just as annoying. So just keep it to yourself and also mute your TV. Or just, don't watch Sabalenka. It's more annoying. There you go. See? Grunting, complaining about grunting is just as bad. So just, what you hear when Sabalenka makes noise is how we hear you make noise. So just remember that. 15 love. Sabalenka serves a fault second serve. Okay, wild comments. Thank you, Deb. Jesus Christ, people get crazy. 30 love. Has been ace. 40 love. $40 love. Sabalenka forehand is a winner. That was a great game by Sabalenka. Okay. 4-3 Sabalenka in the final set. By the way, we got Fritz versus Sonigo next. If you don't like grunting, don't watch Sonigo. Do yourself a favor and skip that one. Question. Who do you think are or is the player that Sabalenka and Swiatek struggle with the most? I don't know if it's the same player because they have different weaknesses and different strengths. I think the obvious one for Swiatek is Ostapenko, right? Sabalenka probably struggles most against Coco. I think it's probably Coco. Now, if the question was who do both players equally like who if you want to make the question which player can compete against both or makes both of them sweat, probably Raducanu is probably the answer. Raducanu can do well. It does well against both because she can hit with Sabalenka, but she can also serve and be aggressive against Swiatek. But Swiatek's been pretty good against Raducanu lately. Yeah, Krejcikova. Now Krejcikova's got a terrible record against Sabalenka. Krejcikova can't beat Sabalenka. Look at her record. It's horrible. I think one time Krejcikova beat Sabalenka, but has Mukova beaten Swiatek though? I don't think Mukova against Swiatek is as good. I think Raducanu's got a good record against both Sabalenka and Swiatek. Andreeva's also on that list. That's a good answer. Andreeva also is starting to become a player who's a problem for both. But we haven't seen enough of Andreeva versus them lately, right? Andreeva hasn't been hasn't played Sabalenka or Swiatek lately, right? So, but you're right. That's another one. Maybe Andreeva could be that person too. Gauff is starting to turn it around against Swiatek, which is obviously a big win. So, but I think Raducanu is probably the one who has played them so many enough times to make it a legitimate, case that she is the biggest problem for both of them. But individually, they've got two. Penko isn't as good against Sabalenka. consistently. And then on the women's side, if you pick Anisimova against Sabalenka, Anisimova doesn't beat Swiatek though, right? So, or at least, didn't beat Swiatek. But then I would love to see Anisimova Swiatek this week to get an idea of whether or not Wimbledon was, because it's a Wimbledon final and maybe more competitive, Anisimova in like a semi-final or a quarterfinal of a smaller event would be better. Hopefully we get to see that. Anyway, 15-0. But great question. Great. That is a great question. Thank you for that great question. 30-15. Chat, that's the kind of questions that we want on this channel. Those are the questions that we want. Great question. Thought-provoking, conversational questions. That's what we want. More of those questions and less questions about why players make noise. That's what I want. Great question. And good answers as well by the chat. Good answers. 30-15. As Raducanu serves. As the return goes into the back end of Raducanu. Raducanu hits a winner. 40-15. 40-15. As we get a fault by Raducanu, second serve. As Raducanu double faults, 40-30. (40-30). As Raducanu serves again. Sabalenka returns into the back of Raducanu. Sabalenka forehand, Raducanu on the stretch. As Sabalenka goes down the line, Raducanu is there with the backhand of Sabalenka. And Raducanu hits it out. We get to deuce. Cam, if Emma loses, how many chatmeisters will say she should be encouraged by this? A lot, because that's the correct answer. She should be encouraged by this. Do you not agree? I mean, if you don't think this is a good loss, if she does lose Raducanu, if it's not a good result, despite losing, then you just don't like her. I mean, at that point, you just don't like Raducanu. I mean, this is the best she's ever been against the world number one. I don't even think it's just Sabalenka, against the world number one, including Swiatek, right? I mean, this is the best performance against the best player on the planet Raducanu's ever had. So I think if at this point, if you don't agree with that, then you just shouldn't watch Raducanu matches. Great return from Sabalenka, deuce. All right, deuce. Nearly 2.5 hours played. Very important game. There's Raducanu with a forehand. To the back of Sabalenka, Raducanu slice. Is in the net. Advantage Sabalenka. Advantage Sabalenka to take the break and serve of the match. Advantage Sabalenka. The men make more noise than Aryna and nobody says a word. Yeah, let's not make it a man versus woman thing. But I get it. As Raducanu serves an ace, and it's deuce. We get to deuce. Are we going to watch Sinner later? Of course. Cam, you deserve a good cup of coffee. I would love a cup of coffee. I would love to go down to the store and get a good cappuccino this morning. All right, deuce. As a return from Sabalenka goes the forehand of Raducanu. Sabalenka back into the net. Advantage Raducanu. Do you live in the UK or is it just your accent? What's wrong with my accent? Did I get my Danish? I did. It was a berry and custard Danish. Beautiful. It was delicious. And I'm going to get another one today if they still have them. Because they sell out pretty quick because they're really good. I lived in the UK for 2 years. But I live in Australia. But my Australian accent is not as crazy. Backhand return winner from Sabalenka. Back to deuce. Calling Australians British is blasphemy. No, we don't take offense as much as the British take offense to being called Australian. We take it in our stride. We're all good. You call us British, we're like, close. Or nearly, almost. We were once upon a time, but I'm Irish, so I'm not even part of it. How dare you? How dare you? I'm Irish. Don't you dare put me on that island with the Brits. I ain't no Brit. Advantage Raducanu. Advantage Raducanu. Are Brits ever called Australian? Probably not. But I'm sure if they were, wouldn't go down well. Sabalenka with a lovely winner. It's back to deuce. Back to deuce. Very, very important game. Serve again. Into the back into Sabalenka. Return goes out. Advantage Raducanu. Advantage Raducanu. Serve again. Here's a fault. Serve to the front of Sabalenka. Slice from Raducanu with the net. Back to deuce. This feels like it might be the game that defines the match. Raducanu serves again. Raducanu is saying that somebody in the crowd's making noise. Like, what the hell do you want me to do? Because the umpire's like, you're going to waste time. This umpire's telling Raducanu to hurry up. Am I sleeping? What? Like, no? Hello? Hello? Is this thing on? What do you mean? Return goes into the forehand of Raducanu. Strange question. Backhand to Sabalenka. As Raducanu slice into the backhand of Sabalenka. Raducanu with a slice forehand. Sabalenka comes in with a drop shot in the nets. Oh, Sabalenka could have done anything with that shot. And she sliced it into the net. Gosh, she had the point. And she knows it. As soon as she hit it, she's like, what did I just do? Belfast is Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK. Yeah, I'm not from Northern Ireland. I'm from Ireland. My ancestors came from the island of Ireland. All right? We ain't Northern Islanders. We ain't British. As Raducanu double faults, back to deuce. First serve's a fault, second serve. First serve is a fault. Second serve. Into the forehand of Sabalenka, return. Into the forehand of Raducanu. Sabalenka comes to the net. Raducanu with a pass. Sabalenka with a volley. Raducanu with a forehand. Too good. Advantage Raducanu. Advantage Raducanu. To level this final set. I miss your tennis enthusiasm. Hopefully you get to feeling better soon, bro. What are you talking about? Advantage Raducanu. First serve is a fault, second serve. Second serve. Into the back of Sabalenka. Great return winner. Jesus, how long does this game go for? Be like a 20-minute game. Chet, did I say this is the most important game of the match? Back to deuce. Raducanu serves again. There's a fault. That was so close. Second serve. Second serve. Second serve. As the return goes to slice of Raducanu. Backing up from Sabalenka. Raducanu slice again. Sabalenka in control. Raducanu with a forehand pass. But Sabalenka volleys it away. That was better. Advantage Sabalenka. To take the break and serve for the match. All right, serve again. Is a fault. Second serve. Second serve. The back of Sabalenka. Return the back of Raducanu. Sabalenka forehand goes long. Back to deuce. Back to deuce. Raducanu serves again. Cam wants Sabalenka to win. Okay. Serve. Into the forehand of Sabalenka. Forehand from Raducanu into the backhand of Sabalenka. And Sabalenka hits it out. Advantage Raducanu. All right, advantage Raducanu. The umpire telling the crowd to shut up. Shut the hell up, crowd. Stop being so loud. Advantage Raducanu. Raducanu says a fault. Second serve. By the way, chat, guess how many matches we've watched this year? Just take a wild guess. Advantage Raducanu. Roughly. Guesstimation. As Sabalenka return winner, it's back to deuce. Guess how many matches we've watched in 2025? 250. 500. 347. 128. 400. 572. 650. 200. 167. 200. 400. 340. 550. 444. All right. Deuce. As Raducanu serves again. 10th deuce point, by the way. As Raducanu double faults. Advantage Sabalenka. So we've watched around 595 matches this year. 595. Which is about right, because we usually watch about 700 matches a year. And we're coming to the end of the year. Nearly 600. By the end of this week, we would have had to watch over 600 matches. As a return goes back into Sabalenka, slice. Into the back of Raducanu, Sabalenka backhand. Goes long, we're back to deuce. The game that never ends. Back to deuce. Get a life. I'm trying. All right, back to deuce. Raducanu serves again. First serve is a fault, second serve. As Raducanu serves the forehand of Sabalenka, return goes short from Raducanu, and Sabalenka puts it away. Advantage Sabalenka. Sabalenka to take the break and serve for the match. By the way, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. As Raducanu comes to the net. No, she stayed back and Sabalenka hit it out. Back to deuce. Back to deuce. Back to deuce. As Sabalenka hits it out on the return. Advantage Raducanu. Advantage Raducanu. As the return goes in the back of Raducanu. Sabalenka forehand again. The forehand Raducanu sliced. Sabalenka backhand cross court. Raducanu gets on the stretch. But it's out. Back to deuce. Back to deuce. It's got to be at least 15-minute game. At least a 15-minute game. Back to deuce. Raducanu serves a let. All right, serve again. Into the forehand. Sabalenka in the net. Advantage Raducanu. Advantage Raducanu. To level this is a 22-minute game. Holy shit. To level this final set. Raducanu serves. To the forehand. Sabalenka in the net. Wow. Wow. Raducanu with a shout towards the coach. And the crowd are on their feet. They're giving a standing ovation for that service game. 4-4. Wow. Chat, this is intense. This is crazy. This is scary. This feels like a grand slam. 4-0. What a game. All right, now Sabalenka's got to serve. Now she says a fault second serve. Double fault. Love 15. Sabalenka with a double fault. Has with a fault second serve. As the backhand return goes into the forehand of Sabalenka. Slice from Raducanu. Sabalenka comes in with a volley. Win up. Beautiful volley. 15-0. Yeah, it's been like 25 minutes since Sabalenka last served. That's crazy. No wonder she double faulted. That explains the double fault. 15-0. First serve is a fault, second serve. As a return goes into the forehand of Sabalenka. Sabalenka in the net. 15-30. 15-30. Serve again. First serve's a fault, second serve. Serve to the backhand of Raducanu. Sabalenka backhand to the slice of Raducanu. Down the line of the forehand of Sabalenka. Raducanu on the stretch. Goes wide. Great shot from Sabalenka. 30-0. 30 all. Huge point. Huge point. And Sabalenka serves a fault. Second serve. Second serve into the forehand of Raducanu. Sabalenka gets it back. Raducanu slicing the net. 40-30. Sabalenka to take back the lead. Hey, what's going on, Scott? How you doing? As the return goes back at Sabalenka. Raducanu slice, but Sabalenka volleys it away. All right, 5-4. Sabalenka back in front. And now Raducanu will serve to stay in the match. Chat, where are we watching from? Oh, man, where are we watching from? I haven't asked that yet. Where are we watching from? I'm in Australia. It's 5:30 in the morning. We got Algeria in the chat. Chicago, London, Canada, South Africa, Texas, Poland, Scotland, Colorado, Northern Ireland, Philippines, Chile, Amsterdam, Germany, USA, Madrid, California, Calgary, Switzerland, Abu Dhabi, Denmark, England, Singapore, Croatia, Belfast, Dubai, Sacramento, Sweden, Kenya, Miami, Kuwait, India, Italy, Nebraska, Wales, Nigeria, Los Angeles, Cardiff, Rhode Island, Michigan, Bristol, Bulgaria, Thailand, St. Helens, New York City, Boston, Trinidad, Zimbabwe, Bangalore, France, San Antonio, Alabama, Tallahassee, Romania. All right. Raducanu serving to stay in the match. That's been a fault from Raducanu, second serve. The dark side of the moon. Ooh, you're so edgy. As Raducanu serves into the forehand of Sabalenka. Raducanu returned down the line. Great shot. Sabalenka slices it wide. It's 15 love. I'll come back in 20 minutes. Might be over by then. 15 love. As the return goes into the forehand of Raducanu. Forehand now from Sabalenka as Raducanu slice goes wide. 15-0. Serve again. There's a fault, second serve. Second serve. As As the return winner by Sabalenka, 15-30. 15-30. Also, remember to 500 likes. Appreciate that. 15-30. As Raducanu serves another fault. Second serve. As a return goes into the forehand of Raducanu. Sabalenka forehand is out. 30 all. Oh. Serve again, Raducanu. As the return goes back in Raducanu. Sabalenka on the stretch with a lob. Goes in. Raducanu forehand as Sabalenka hits a backhand. But it goes out. 40-30. Raducanu to stay in front. 40-30. $40-30. So to the forehand of Sabalenka, Raducanu forehand in the net. We get the deuce. We get the deuce. By the way, winner of this match will play Moniro, who took out Townsend. She's also beaten Venus and Fernandez this week, so Moniro is having a great week. So the winner of this match will take on Buzes Moniro, who's not an easy player to play. Sabalenka gets it out. Advantage Raducanu. Advantage Raducanu. As the return goes to the slice of Raducanu, and then the backhand in the net by Sabalenka. 5-5. 5-5. Sabalenka could be in Scream 5. Why? That's a movie about a serial killer. Why would Sabalenka be in that? That's weird. Makes no sense. Please explain. Sabalenka serves a fault. Second serve. As the return goes in the back of Sabalenka, easy winner. Sabalenka, open court. 15 love. I'm telling you, we're heading for a tie break. No, why'd you say that? What'd you do? You know the rule. Backhand goes into the forehand of Sabalenka. Raducanu backhand. Goes long. 30 love. Chat. You know the rules. Come on. Come on. 30 love. First serve the fault, second serve. There's a forehand long by Sabalenka, 30-15. 30-15. Serve again. Serve again. As we get a backhand down the line of the forehand of Raducanu. And then Sabalenka shanks it, and it's 30 all. 30 all. Sabalenka serves. Into the forehand Raducanu. Sabalenka, forehand open court. Is a winner, 40-30. Sabalenka to stay in front. All right. Sabalenka 40-30. She comes down with an easy volley winner. Sabalenka 6-5. All right. Raducanu is going to serve to take us to a... To just not lose yet. Keep this match alive. All right. See, I didn't make it. I didn't make the error. I remembered. All right. How we doing, chap? But still, how is this match so hard for Sabalenka? Because Raducanu is good at tennis. That's why. Turning out to be an epic? Oh, yeah. I never expected this match to be so close. I mean, the Wimbledon match was just as close. It just wasn't 3 sets. Cam, you have too much white in the result graphic. Yeah, you gotta get a life. That's wild. That's a definition of nitpick. Like, what the fuck? Excuse me, sir. The graphic has a little bit too much white in the in it for my liking. Okay, cool. Just don't pay attention to that. Don't worry about it. It's not that deep. It's all right. Okay, Raducanu serving to stay in the match again. Three hours played. As Raducanu serves. An ace. 15 love. As Raducanu serves a fault. Second serve. As the return goes back into Raducanu. Sabalenka backhand goes long. 30 love. Your city times are in the wrong order. Chat, this is the time where we got to lock in. $30 love. As Raducanu serves. Return goes in the forehand of Raducanu. Backhand of Sabalenka is a slice. Raducanu gets it with a forehand winner though. 40 love. 40 love. To keep this match alive. 40 love. Love. Serve into the back end of Sabalenka. Return goes out. We're going to a tie break. All those people who said the word tie break, you are safe this time. God damn. Don't you know the rules? You don't say the word tie break until we get to it. It's crazy. Your glasses are 2 round. Just kidding. Okay. All right. Final set shootout. Sabalenka. Raducanu. Great match. It's so good when we get a match that we know was going to be exciting, or we knew could be exciting, and it lives up to the hype. This is a perfect way to start the day. All right, I'm going to go Sabalenka, though, because she hasn't lost a tiebreak against Raducanu yet, as Sabalenka hits a great serve to start. 1 love. I said tiebreak 15 minutes ago. Yeah, Jimmy, you almost jinxed it. So that was, you're lucky. Don't do it again. I'm talking to you like that. I'm referring to you. You're the one who said it. You nearly ruined it for everybody. So you just gotta be chill. 1 love. As Raducanu serves an ace. 1-0. By the way, Jimmy Jinxer is wild. That is wild. All right, 1-1. As a return goes in, the back of Raducanu. Sabalenka backhand goes wide, and it's 2-1 Raducanu. 2-1 Raducanu. Back to Sabalenka. As the return goes in the net by Raducanu. Good serving, Sabalenka. 2-0. Sabalenka serves again. First serve is a fault. Second serve. As the return goes back into Sabalenka. Sabalenka hits a winner. 3-2 Sabalenka. 3-2. 3-2 Sabalenka. On serve. Serve again. Into the back into Sabalenka. Raducanu forehand. Sabalenka with a passing shot, but Raducanu can't get it. 4-2 Sabalenka. They change ends. Just wasn't a good enough approach for Raducanu. And Sabalenka, too good. Yeah, it was just a little too central, or a little too direct. Straight to Sabalenka's backhand, and she just went, easy winner. Easy winner. Sabalenka's fired up as well. 4-2. Serve again. Into the back of Sabalenka. Return goes out. 4-3. Sabalenka. 4-3 Sabalenka in the tiebreak. Four, 3. And Sabalenka serves a fault. Second serve. Into the backhand, Raducanu. Sabalenka backhand in the net. All right. 4-4. Back on serve. 4-4. Sabalenka to serve again. She serves an ace. Woo! That's clutch. That's clutch from the number one. 5-4. Sabalenka. Raducanu to serve. The sun is in her face. She serves a fault. Second serve. Yeah, the sun is directly in Raducanu's eyes on this second serve as well. Second serve. Into the back of Sabalenka. Back into Raducanu. Into the front of Sabalenka. Raducanu with a slice. Sabalenka with a volley. It's too good. Just too good. 6-4 Sabalenka. Like Sabalenka was just, that was just perfect. And the second serve was decent. That was a good second serve. And then Sabalenka slapped it back, came to the net and just hit like Sabalenka's come to the net a lot today, and it's been like perfect. Like she's been so good at the net. The backhand volley's been so good. 6-4. Match points for Sabalenka. As Raducanu serves an ace down the tee. Ooh, okay. Raducanu serve was good there. All right, Sabalenka, match point on her serve. What a match. 6-5. Sabalenka, match point number 2. First one on serve. Serve. Is an ace down the tee. Sabalenka gets it done. Wow. What great serving in that tiebreak to finish. But Sabalenka too strong. And she's into the 4th round. She knocks out Raducanu, but I tell you, Raducanu slowly getting closer to beating the best player on the planet. Wimbledon was a great improvement. She just didn't take her chances. But today, another step in the right direction for Raducanu. But Sabalenka just clutch. I mean, it was just too good in the end. Just clutch. Clutch from Sabalenka. It's why she's number 1 in the world. And she survives. Sabalenka survives. I don't think that is as accurate as that gets. She survived that match. But great from Raducanu. Great matchup. It's starting to become more and more interesting. All right. Now, the problem now with Raducanu, though, losing is that now she has to wait for her to see if she gets seeded or not, because it's out of her hands. So we'll keep an eye on that as the week goes on. How Raducanu, if Raducanu can get seeded at the US Open, but Great match. Match of the year? No. But a very good match. Match of the tournament so far for me. It's just started though, but still. Match of the tournament for me so far. Thanks, David. Appreciate it. If you are leaving, don't forget to sub on the way out. If anyone still doubts Raducanu's abilities, then I don't know what more she can do. Yeah, I mean, look, I think that's. Anyone who thinks that Raducanu is no good is not going to change their mind. I think they're just going to be. They're going to stick with that narrative no matter what she does. She could win another Grand Slam, and they'll be like, yeah, but she doesn't have 3. They ain't going to change. They're stuck in their ways. Nothing will change that. Tough on Raducanu, deserves to be seeded, but keeps drawing big names early rounds. Yeah, I mean, it was great that she got seeded. But, yeah, she got seeded in the wrong section of the draw. She had to play Sabalenka again. I mean, that's brutal. Had she been, seeded against another top 10 player in the third round, it might have been better. She could have played Navarro or maybe even Pegula at this stage would have been more of her chance, but she's got to play Sabalenka again. I mean, that's brutal. Hopefully, if she does get seeded, she does avoid Sabalenka. Or even, you know what? If she's not seeded, it's not the worst thing, because if you get seeded between, 25 and 32, if you're in that bracket, you have to play a top 8 player in the third round. But if you don't get seeded, you might have to play a top 10 player in the first round, but you could also avoid playing a top 10 player until a little bit later. So you could play, for example, in the second round, you could take on, the number 15, and then the third round, you take on somebody. You wouldn't take on a top 10 player because it'd be a different. So maybe being unseeded and getting a little bit lucky in the draw, she'd avoid playing a top player until maybe the fourth round, if that makes sense. It makes no sense, but it does. I mean, just trust me. Trust me, it makes sense. The only way she's going to avoid a top 8 player until the later rounds is if she's in the top 20, basically. If you're in the top 20, you won't play a top 8 player until later. Emma's not improving. She's rubbish. Okay. Have a good life. You sound very hurt. Are you okay? Raducanu's still bad? God, you guys having I don't know, it's Monday. Everyone's just shitty today. Just relax. Why can't she beat Aryna or Swiatek? Because they're the 2 best players on the planet. And not many players can beat them. Why can't Raducanu beat the 2 best players of the decade? Because of that. It wasn't a pretty match, by the way. Even though it was close, it was a very competitive match. It wasn't pretty. A lot of errors by Sabalenka, a lot of errors by Raducanu. But only 5 breaks of serve, and 4 of those were in the first set. So 1 break of serve in the second and third set combined, that's great serving. And obviously the aces were, in the tie breaks and stuff. But the level of tennis when it comes to, errors was high error count from both. But it didn't feel like it was an ugly match because it was so competitive and close. Like that final set, no breaks of serve. And that's impressive. That doesn't happen. Rubbish going 3 against the world number 1. I must not know the definition of the word exactly. Yeah. Yeah, God, Raducanu is so bad. She pushed the world number 1 all the way to the third set tiebreak. God, she sucks. Like, what do you mean? Oh, man. At that point, you're just saying that just to get noticed, aren't you? You're just saying that for somebody to... So he's read my comment. Definitely top 3 match of the year. I don't know if it's top 3 match of the year. But it was one of the best... One of the most... It's one of the matches that actually lived up to the hype. That's for sure. We usually don't... sometimes we don't get those matchups. Like when we see 2 big players playing each other and we're like, oh, this is going to be great. It doesn't always end up being great. Definitely lived up to the hype, which is exactly what we want, right? Blockbuster matchup, blockbuster score. By the way, Tsitsipas is playing at the moment. Cullen Sky's up a set and a break against Anisimova. That's interesting. Do you want money, Cam? That's why you're waiting. I can give you. Yeah. Feel free to send me over $300. That'd be great. I need to pay my electricity. And Anisimova is officially annoying me again. Okay. Swiatek Keys is in the Australian Open was good too. Oh yeah, that's still match of the year for me. For sure. I think Anisimova still has scars from the Wimbledon final. No, I don't think so. I don't think she's losing today because she lost at Wimbledon. Emma's not getting better. Yeah, look, bro, you're just wrong. And that's okay. Emma will probably be the scariest unseeded player at the US Open. Oh, she could be. I mean, yeah, we'll keep a track of her ranking this week and see if she does get, if she's still going to get seeded. She could be seeded after today. I mean, if certain players lose, she could get a seed after today, but like in the next 2 days. But yeah. Kalinskaya is good. Oh yeah, Kalinskaya is way better than her ranking. It's a very tough match for Anisimova. I don't think Anisimova is dealing with any, like, she's definitely going to have some bad memories from Wimbledon, but I don't think it's going to affect her. Had she have lost every match since then, like if she lost like 4 matches in a row, then you'd say, yeah, okay, maybe it's a problem. But she went on, she played well, she played really well in Washington, in Canada. Like, she's played well since then, so I don't think it's lingering. It'll just be when she plays Swiatek next and we go, ooh, how's she rebound, right? By the way, Chad, I'm yapping. We got another match coming up. But I'm waiting for that guy to send me $1 million, but he ran away. Jump on over here, talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to go get another tea because I ran out like 2 hours ago. Sonigo versus Fritz. Going to be fun. It's going to be a fun one. And then we've got Sinner coming up a bit later as well. But Sabalenka wins. 7-6, 4-6, 7-6. Oh, hello. And she's into the 4th round. She avoids losing early in this tournament. Defending champion sticks around. Raducanu, though, getting better. She's getting better against Sabalenka. That matchup's getting a lot more interesting. But we've got Fritz taking on Sonigo coming up next.